Do you feel like some of it has to be on you as a pitcher? Some of it has to be on the staff, connecting, because Yadi was so much. We talked about it on this show, and I think you even kind of mentioned it earlier. How Yadi was like, he was a fixture. You could sometimes roll up, and I told a story about a pitcher one time who they called a curveball, and he's like, I don't even have a curveball. Like if Willson does that and Yadi does that, you might be like, all right, well, I used to throw a curveball back in high school. I might turn it. How do you guys pick that up and take some of that ownership as pitchers and as coaching staff? Because to me, I think Yadi took some of that stuff away from coaching staff or, maybe scouts. And so what are things that you can do to pick that up?
Yeah, for sure. You got to take ownership. It's the ball's in your hand and you can throw whatever pitch you want. It's not on the catcher. Those are just merely suggestions, even though now at the pitch clock, it's a lot harder to kind of get to the pitch you want sometimes. But, even if you throw a guy the same pitch 3 or 4 times in a row, most of the time, if you can execute it, you're probably still going to get an out, and I think too much of the blame probably goes on the catcher. I think that, for me especially, I had a game in San Fran. I walked off through on homer and was soft the whole at bat, and left the best one he's seen right down the middle of the plate. And obviously at this level, guys aren't going to miss too much. So that's definitely on me, where I think is, a lot of people are like, oh, well, why didn't he call a fastball there, but, tomato, you could take it both ways. And, Yachty was different, he definitely spoiled us, coming up, made it easier on me, not having to really think a whole lot out there. And he's just different, it's the only way to explain it. And he was so good at catching, I throw upper 90s, 100 most of the time. And in 21, I was messing with the 2-seam a little bit, and I'd ask him, like, hey, do you want to call like a sinker or 4-seam, to separate it because, they got different action. And he's like, no, just throw it. I'll catch it, So, you got 100 going up 20 inches versus, a 2-seam at 98, going 20 inches the other way. And he was like, I'll catch it. That's just how good he was. And, he was a freak. He was different. And, we're definitely spoiled by him. But, I think Willson cares and wants to be the best he can be for us and, wants to win for the St. Louis Cardinals and win for his teammates. So I think he's going to be good for us down the stretch.
Do you use PitchCom? Have you experimented with PitchCom? Is it on your glove or your belt and you can call your own pitches?
No, I don't have it out there. I just have the thing in my hat up in the seal there.
Have you thought about it though? Because you mentioned the clock, so you can just go do 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 do, and then Kinzer or Contreras or whoever's catching can hear you, and that way you don't have to worry about shaking.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about it. I've never played with it, so I definitely have to practice with it and mess with it a little bit. Could be a possibility, something I'll have to look into. But I like our catchers. I like their game plan. We have meetings just about every day. We have good game plans, and I like to follow them. And obviously, if I don't like what they call, then I'll shake. And if I got to shake more than once now, I'll try to get the sign a little earlier so I can get the pitch off.
You afraid using that PitchCom where it's in your hat that you're going to go into a stadium? This is my theory, that some stadium is going to figure out how to just get the crowd absolutely ruckus, and now you can't hear it. Are you afraid you're going to get a pitch violation or a timer violation later in the game? And if so, how are you going to combat that if you start going into a place that has figured it out as fans, oh, he can't hear anything?
Yeah, maybe have a sign with the catcher, I guess, to just start putting down some fingers. I guess is the only way to fix it in the moment, especially if the place is that loud. Those pitch comms get really loud, though, so fortunately so far I haven't had any trouble with it. I usually keep it actually on the lower side because it gets so loud. I feel like sometimes that thing spouts it out so loud the hitters can almost hear it sometimes.
Have you ever – that was always my wonder about the PitchCom is it ever – say you're in Oakland and there's 2,500 people and you're pitching in the 9th inning and all of a sudden the catcher types it in and it goes fastball away and the hitter – I always thought that there might be an opportunity in a stadium where it's quiet. Maybe the hitter can hear. That's what he's saying.
Hear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a first base coach or, I don't know, a base runner or something. I don't know.
It's
the
pretty
PitchCom
loud.
have you had the timeout yet where the pitch clock's getting down, you're set and you're like, step off and you're like, oh, you give it the old fake, like, oh, I can't hear the thing, the pitch timer.
No, I haven't used that one yet. I'll I don't know. I mean, I'm too caught up in the moment usually in the ninth inning to really think about trying to finagle the pitch clock like that.